Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of God Built This podcast. I am your host Maxine and we are on episode 35. All right, look, I got a lot to say and I'm like, I gotta get on this mic because I am so annoyed. So motherfucking annoyed. I am so annoyed. So motherfucking annoyed. All right. That was my little intro to what I'm about to get into. So, these niggas, I'm just like, I'm just over it. I'm over dating. I'm over rekindling. I'm over talking to these niggas. I'm over giving my time. I am reclaiming my time. I'm over getting excited for something that seems new. Well, that is new, but seems refreshing. It seems exciting. It seems, wow, finally I'm on the same page with a nigga. And then boom, disappointment hits. Boom, I'm annoyed. Boom, inconsistency. Boom, motherfucking boom. Like, are we at war? Are we in Iraq? Why are there so many booms going off right now? I don't know where to begin because it's both of these niggas that I'm just like, I'm motherfucking annoyed. And when I get to the point of extreme nuisance, I don't even care to share my feelings with said person. Like, I don't even, I'm 28 years old. Look, I'm not explaining my feelings anymore. No, you consistently, I'm going to obviously give you guys a backstory, but let me just kind of rush these thoughts and words out of my mouth because I'm so fucking annoyed. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, where do I begin? Let's start from old dude who me and him, just started rekindling again. And not on no extra, I don't even, honestly, like I said in the last podcast, I don't fucking know. I don't know. Okay, let me try to be as clear as I can, because you're probably listening like, okay, get to the fucking point. Get to the point. I'm getting to the point. Okay, so, bae, old boo. Not bae, I want to call him bae, but like, old boo, whatever. We're apart physically, okay? And so when I moved to Texas, even when I was in Boston, there was no, let me tell you this. There was no conversation about exclusivity. There was no conversation about marriage, right? Like, I am not yours. Let me say it again. I am not yours. I am my own. Like, I am my own. I belong to me, okay? That's whose I am, okay? And God's, hallelujah. But that's my point is, I don't like when men think they own a part of you or you, period. Especially when there was never a conversation had for that to be the case. There was never a conversation had for you to legitimately feel this way. All right, let me get back to the beginning. So there's that. Okay, so me and him get into a it started from there. Okay, now it's coming all back to me. Okay, so I'm supposed to fly back. Well, I'm flying back to Boston in a couple of weeks for the Memorial Day weekend. Okay, and I was kind of sharing that, like, oh yeah, I'll just book, I'm definitely gonna fly back home during these dates. And I said it like passively because we were just talking. He asked me, when's the next time am I going to be back in Boston? And so I said that. And his line of questioning right after was very detailed, to the point where nigga, are you buying my flight tickets? Because why do you need to know the airline in which I'm flying in, the dates in which I'll be here? Like, I don't know, it was just so specific that it gave the impression as if he was going to purchase my ticket. Because right before that part of the conversation happened, we would talk. Well, he was saying how he misses me. You know, I'm like, okay, I miss you too. You know, whatever. And so we got into the next time I'll be back in Boston. So I said that, and his line of questioning right after made it seem as if he was about to ask or about to say, hey, I'll cover your flight, or hey, maybe he'll cover one half and I'll take the other half. Like, he'll cover one trip and then I'll pay the next trip. Like, something like, you know what I mean? Like, instead of me getting a round trip, maybe he'll cover one flight one way and then I'll cover, the remainder. But saying it right now sounds like, okay, I get it. But I was so convinced by his line of questioning that it just seemed as if that was going to be the next question or the next offer, the next thing he was going to say. And so when I said the answers to all the details, like, he was asking questions like, oh, what airline are you flying with? What time do you usually fly? What, like, he was asking questions as if he was about, like, he was on the computer right now about to arrange it according to my preference. You know what I mean? So I don't think I'm in the wrong in thinking that he was going to ask me that, or that he was going to offer to cover my flight, right? So like I said, after I answer his line of questioning, he just kind of goes. Like that nigga always does. Okay? And by ghost, I mean like, after I answered the questions, he doesn't respond. And it was like 5 hours later. And then the next day comes, and then the conversation continues with him starting a new conversation as if you didn't ask me 25 questions about my airline preference. Like, what? So the conversation just started anew with no recognition to where we stood in our previous conversation. Like, did you forget the questions that you asked me right before you texted me just now? Good morning? What? Huh? What? Are you buying my flight? Okay. Got it. And look, I am not that girl, though I would love and appreciate if a man took care of any bills or, decided to pay for recreational use whenever I use my money for whatever it is. I totally welcome that. But I have been handling myself, period. Like, I've been doing pretty well for myself, and I praise the Lord for that, But when you ask me questions like that, and you're someone who is expressing how much you miss me, how much you can't wait to see me, it seems kind of natural for me to think and expect for you to offer to buy my flights. But whatever, you know what? He didn't ask, and I'm like, okay, whatever. The new conversation comes about, and at this point, I'm here in Houston. I'm out with my girl. I'm a little tipsy. Just a little, okay? And so I think I texted him like, hey, like, you know what's funny? And then I got into, the last conversation that we had, I thought you was going to actually ask me, or not ask, why don't I keep on saying ask? I thought you was going to offer to pay for my ticket, because the way that the conversation happened, it seemed like you were going to do that. And his response was, oh, LOL, I knew you would think that. If I didn't have all these things I had to take care of, I would definitely, buy your flight for you, sweetheart. And he was saying all this bullshit. Like, okay, so you're not buying my flight. Okay, got it. Cool. Hanging up. Got it. I got it now. Okay. So I'm just like, oh, okay, this is kind of awkward, but whatever. So that's it. I'm done. Like, that conversation's over. I think it was like 2 days later. Like, we're still talking sporadically here and there, whatever. 2 days later, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? That's not right. And I'm not saying it's not right that he's not covering my flight. Like I said, I don't care about that because I take care of myself. I am independent. Although I would love for someone to offer to pay for this or that. Of course, any woman would, any person would. But I'm not pressed for that. I like to know that no one's holding anything over me. But what I'm pressed and what I was annoyed about was the fact that he knew that I would think that way. He knew that I would assume, or not even just assume. I feel like assume is like this negative. People like to say, don't assume. I'm not assuming if you're clearly giving me these big ass signs that you're going to do one thing. And then when I think you're going to do that one thing, you stir to the left. Nigga, we're taking a right. Why are you going to the left? Okay? So when he responded and said, oh, I knew you would think that, I felt like that was manipulative as fuck. Why would you go about acting one way knowing that I would receive it in a particular way just for you to not deliver what I thought and what you knew I would think you'll do? I hope I'm making sense to y'all because I'm making sense to myself. Okay? But why would you ask me all those lines of questions, right? Why would you be so intrigued about the airline preference that I prefer, right? Or the exact dates and the time and the night and the hour in which I will arrive, and what do I like to like all these detailed questions that why do you care about that if you're not covering my flight? I'm not asking my friend or someone else, hey, what airline do you prefer? Do you like to fly during the morning or the night? I'm not going to ask those questions if I'm not covering your flight. I don't care. I really don't. And those questions, I feel like what's only valid is if you were to, like, if it was arranged that you would pick me up and you just wanted to know, hey, are you arriving at night? Okay, cool. I'll be leaving this function at this time and I'll meet you at the terminal at this, you know what I mean? But that was not the conversation at all. So when he said that, when he did say, I knew you would say that, I felt like that was manipulative. So I brought back that conversation up 2 days later and I was like, hey, not to make it a big deal. And I hate that I had to do that with these niggas because why do I have to preface it? Why do I have to preface anything? Why can't I just speak freely and say how I feel? But instead, I have to do that because so many men out there are incredibly defensive, insecure, and combative that they're going to just jump and roar if you point out any flaw that they are showing. Like, what? Nigga, what? Can we have a calm conversation? But the fact that I have to say, hey, not to make it a big deal, right? Or the fact that I have to say, hey, you know, you will always be my boo. But, or hey, I really love the person that you are. But, like, I shouldn't have to sandwich my speech. And by sandwich, I mean, oftentimes when we're giving not a negative critique, but a constructive piece of criticism about someone's action or character, you typically have to say, oh, I really like X, Y, and Z about you. Or, oh, you really do a good job at this. Or, oh, like, nigga, no, you're manipulative, you're toxic, and I'm sick of it. Period, send. Period, send. Like, what? Okay, so, like I was saying, I say to him, Not to make it a big deal, because, I got to stroke this nigga's ego. You're a really great guy, and I really love who you are. I don't. Are you paying for my flight? Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm done. So I say that, right? And he's like, he put the listening ear emoji. And I sent him a really clear and thorough thesis. I sent him a clear and thorough 2-pager. What's up? Click that arrow to continue this message, nigga. It's like, no, I try not to be thick or dense in my messages whenever I do have to say something that's a little, not heavy, it's not even heavy, but it's like I have to describe it this way because these niggas out here can't take anything that's not saying you're amazing and your dick feels great. No, and no, none of that. I don't know why I'm talking to you. I don't even know why I'm still talking to you. I really don't. And I'm just like, I'm beyond the point of embarrassment. You know how sometimes when us women, we continue to leave that door open for a nigga who we know ain't going to be no more than just that nigga in our life. Like, he's just like, oh, he's just a nigga in my life. Like, it's not gonna be any more than that. But if we know that, not even if, being that we do know that, it's still like that door being open for them, metaphorically, obviously, is still ridiculous. Like, why am I leaving this door open for someone who I know I don't see a future with? Like, nigga, I don't see a tomorrow with you. Never mind a future. When I think of future, I think of 5 years from now. I don't see a tomorrow. We are inconsistent as fuck. When you look up the word inconsistent, you see a picture of me and him and another picture of him to just make that clear that it's still the same nigga. Okay? You see a picture of 2 niggas in different scenes, but the same dude, really. Okay? And, okay, let me get back to the text, because I go off and off. Okay, so, I try to condense what I'm saying. And pretty much what I say, and I don't like to say text messages like I've said before, so I actually just deleted a lot of message threads just yesterday, yeah. Because when I do kind of I sometimes do get in my feelings. I do have feelings. Aquarius women do have feelings. Shout out. But when I do get in my feelings, I do like to keep a message thread longer than 2 or 3 days. You know what I mean? I do like to keep it. And it's not like I don't typically scroll back to, oh, let me talk about this. Let me kind of just sit and look at this text conversation that we had and just be happy and joyful. I don't really do that. Like, that's dumb. Like, I don't have time scrolling up, going back and waiting for messages to load. I don't have time. Nigga, keep on texting me something cute. Keep on. Like, what are we doing? So, but I just like to know that, oh, in this message thread holds a lot of great sentimental stuff that we've said. But that's just over because I deleted that message thread just yesterday, okay? Because clutter. I don't like clutter. I declutter, okay? So, okay, I pretty much said to him, when I said to you that I thought you was going to offer to buy my flight ticket, and you said that you knew I was going to think that way, I felt like that was manipulative of you. And I made sure to say that word because that's a word that is totally applicable for him. And it shows in certain behaviors that he demonstrates to me. So I'm making sure to say that word. So that word was deliberate. That's why I wanted to bring it back up because, okay, when I said it like 2 days prior and we had that very lighthearted, passive conversation, I was a little drunk, but I wasn't fully purposeful in what I was saying in that initial conversation. So I didn't really get to sit in my actual feelings about the matter and stand up for myself. And all 2019, all 2018, at least 2018, I've been starting to, but I've been on a mission to stand up for myself at all costs. Whether that's to a superior per se, someone at my workplace, or an elder, a friend, a peer, a nigga, I'm standing up for myself. And I am proud of myself for that, because for a long time, I haven't been as vocal about my boundaries, what I would tolerate and what I won't tolerate. And I feel like sometimes I've been used as a doormat, and not just by niggas, but by some people, you know, especially with people who have a loud personality. They like to talk over you, or make you feel like your point isn't strong enough because you're not saying it the way they're saying it. I don't know. And it's funny because sometimes people describe me as that, and they're wrong. It's like, no, look, I think everyone is different, of course, and there are just some people you just have to kind of check. And what I've learned is I can still correct you without it having to be a whole confrontation, a whole issue. Like, especially if my intent is not to make you feel like I'm attacking you. I'm just letting you know, hey, I did not appreciate you saying that because of X, Y, and Z, and that's it. You know? And if you continue to act this way, I'm distancing myself, and that's it. But I think that in this case, I was trying to defend I defended myself by being clear in how he made me feel. So me naming the emotion I felt, right? I felt manipulative because I felt manipulated because he was being manipulative. Okay, I felt tricked and bamboozled. Like, when I tell y'all, I really thought within that moment when he was asking me all those questions, I really thought he was gonna say, all right, cool, I'll get your flight later on today, I'll get your flight tomorrow when I get paid, or something. I really thought that was going to be the next thing he was going to say. And so for him to not only not say anything after that, but to not bring it up at all was just like, am I in a time warp? Like, there's been several times with this dude where I felt like I was being gaslit. And gaslit is just really another way to say manipulated, right? Make you feel one way and then look like, it's like peeing on me and saying, oh, that's not my pee, that's the rain from the sky. No, you're peeing on me. Like, your dick is out and it's being used on me without my consent. Let's say that, okay? And I don't like that, obviously. And with gaslighting and being manipulated, it makes you feel like you're crazy. It makes you feel like, did I think that myself? Did I just make this up? And no, the fuck I didn't. No, I did not. I had every reason to believe and feel as if he was going to offer to buy my flight. That's period. I really did. And so for him to not only confirm that I would feel this way, knowing that how he was asking those questions, or him asking those questions, period, would make me feel that way. But he didn't acknowledge that the fact that he was doing that. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't acknowledge it. It's like, it I don't know, it turns him on for me to feel manipulated, but this is not uncommon of him. Like, when I really sit and think about past behavior that he has shown me, there's been some moments when he has been manipulated. Well, why can't I say that word? There's been some moments when he has been manipulative, okay? Anyway, so I said that. I made sure to say I felt like you were being... I don't even say I felt like. I said you were being manipulative, okay? And I also made sure to say I don't want you to think that I expect for you to do anything for me. I handle myself just fine. But since you said that you knew I was going to feel this way, why would you go ahead and continue acting as if you was going to cover my flight? You know, like, I just kind of threw it back at him. His response was just like any old dumbass nigga response. I'm sorry you felt that way. Initially, that's what he said. And then towards the end of our conversation, he said how I'm sorry for being that way, or I'm sorry. Like, he kind of owned it a little. And okay, whatever. Moving on. Then he says a slick ass comment talking about, well, you know, you're single, so I don't know. But if you weren't single, then I don't know. I wish I saved it just so I could read it verbatim, because I don't know if this is another niggism, a nigga linguistics nigga. What are you saying? Huh? Can you speak clearly? I don't get it. But you know, I gotta play it cute. I'm done with playing it cute, because every time I don't play it cute and I call shit out for what it is, I'm being told you're being emotional. Yo, you're crazy. Okay, well, my crazy ass, you seem to like it. Okay. So what are you saying? So, he says that, right? He's saying how, like, pretty much since I'm okay. Sorry. It's like all coming back to me. Like I said, I don't have it saved because I don't save threads. I just deleted threads. Okay. He brought up something I said on Instagram. Sometimes he'll like creep on my Instagram like a fucking creep sometimes. And it's weird. Like, I purposely don't follow him. And he's on mine. Like, okay, hi. Anyways, I forgot my train of thought. Okay, so it was an episode that, you know how on Instagram, hopefully you guys follow me at Heymamore, and at Godbuiltthis on Instagram. Promo. I would like cut different parts of my podcast and like show a little teaser on my Instagram stories, or sometimes on my actual posts, right? One of the stories I had teased on my Instagram was of me saying how I just wanted to dance in a club and shake my ass and get my ass felt on. And I was just being obviously facetious and funny, as you know. And I was saying how it was annoying when this dude, which kind of gets me to the next topic, but this dude kept on asking me 21 questions. And it's like, nigga, I'm just trying to dance to Kodak Black. Rub on my booty and let me sit down. Okay, stop asking me about my darkest fears. What? Huh? Okay. I can't hear you. Yeah, we're both in a club. I can't have a conversation right now. Stop. Like, why do men think it's time to talk about deep stuff? Like, nigga, what you drinking? Oh, okay. That's it. Okay. So he heard that little transcript, right? And he said a slick comment like, oh, you have men rubbing on my booty, Max. You have men rubbing. First of all, what's up right there? Whose booty is it? Please tell me whose it is. Because last time I checked, this booty was attached to this body. This body is owned by Maxine, not anybody else's. So you saying you're having dudes rub on my booty? You must be talking about your own booty, because it can't be mine, because that's mine. Got it? Get it? Good. So I give him the rolling eye emoji, because that is my girl, that is my emoji. I'm rolling my eyes every time he texts me like, what now? Hi. I'm doing fine. Okay. Can we have some fruitful conversation? Like, Anyway, so he says that, and then he says slick comment around that time too, talking about how he's jealous, he's a jealous guy, and how, wow, you really having some other men rub on my booty, kind of reiterating that. But he's saying these things with the LOL, with the emoji, and it's like, okay, are you being serious or what? Like, what's going on? Because I don't know what's going on. So I'm responding like, I don't know if you're being serious right now, but we have not established anything exclusive. Point blank period. What's up? What's up? We have not established anything serious. So you asking me, or no. You saying this statement to me as if this is the gospel. Nigga, whose booty? This is mine. Okay. So, let me say it again. This is mine. Okay? And if I choose to rub on someone else, and another one else, and another two else, okay? That is my business, but that's not for you to comment on, because when I moved out here, even before I moved out here, when I was in your vicinity, you did not make that choice to lock it down, clank, clank. And honestly, I think I've come to a point in my realization that I don't think I can be locked down. I just don't. I'll get to that, but I just don't feel like anyone can lock me down. I just feel like, even though I talk about like, oh, I would like consistency from these niggas, it has to be something within me that is drawing these inconsistent ass dudes. It has to be, and that has to be something from a root within me that is not interested in fully giving myself to someone. But also, like, no one has shown themselves to be worthy to get all of me. So I'm going to give you pieces. Like, that's just that's my logic. Why would I give you all of me when you're not giving me all of yourself? You give me a piece, I'll give you a piece. Okay, and I'll take that piece right back and move on to the next. That's just my mindset. But anyways, so he's saying that kind of passively, but kind of not. And then when I said what I said very clear and direct, like, look, I don't know if you're being serious, but we've never established any exclusivity. And so, bada bing, bada boom. And so the cookie crumbles. What's up? Okay? He's like, oh, I know, I'm just being, no, he's like, oh, I know, silly. Like, first of all, that's not my name. And he has a way of doing that. Like, he'll call me pet names in moments when I'm being serious. And that's a way I feel like he is pacifying me. Like, oh, if I just call you this pet name, right? If I call you baby, if I call you hun, if I call you bae, if I call you sweetheart, if I call you sweet thing, if I call you beautiful, if I call you all these nice, cute words, these cute nicknames, this will make you not feel so mad anymore, right? And this will make you forget why you're really mad. Forget about the validity in your anger, right? Because I called you beautiful. Fuck you when you're beautiful. Fuck you when you're beautiful. What? Anyways, so I say to him, yeah, I say that. He kind of ended right there and said, oh, I know, silly. And I didn't respond. Conversation over. So that was just like a little taste of how he kind of felt like he was entitled to something. And then when I called him out, when we had that other conversation about him being manipulative, he was just not initially recognizing it, but then he kind of owned up to it. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so we get back to that recent conversation, right? And he says how, well, you having dudes rub on your booty. And, if you weren't single, then I don't know. Like, and I know how he speaks. So I hope you guys understand that I understand his language enough to interpret what he means, right? he may not be as direct as I would be, but it's direct enough where I understand what he's trying to say. So I'm saying to him, okay, look, I don't know why he keeps on bringing that up, because he kept on bringing that up, before, ever since he heard that little preview of my podcast. And so I say to him, look, don't act like you're not fucking other women, right? And mind you, I said women, right? And being that I said, don't act like you're not fucking other women, right? Plural. His immediate response was like, oh, wow, I didn't know you were fucking other men or like talking to anyone like that. Okay, cool. Okay, I respect that. Fine. All right. Wow, Max. So then he goes into what I think is not even what I think, but what is him being judgmental. So he starts saying, dang, Max, you haven't been in Houston for a year. You already fucking? You already... First... And I had to look at my phone like, hold the fuck on. Let me scroll back up and refresh this message thread, because I don't think I read this correctly. You're determining my desire or my action to do what I want to do based off of my length of time here? Fuck you. If I was here for a day, that's enough. I don't need to be here. I don't need to be in Houston for a year to start having sex with people. What are you saying? Like, this is the misogyny that I'm talking about with these niggas. Like, they think that, one, they're entitled to you. Like, we've never talked about exclusivity. Earlier on when we were talking and I would kind of bring it up, he would immediately shut me down talking about he's not ready for a relationship. He's not interested in a relationship. Don't ask me shit about relationship. Yet when I move and I do my own thing and I'm popping, right? And I'm looking good. Clink, clink. What's up? Now you want to say my booty. You having niggas rub up on my booty? Whose booty? Mine? Oh, it's mine, not yours. Okay? So it's that. So I took that and I was like, oh, what you're not going to do is tell me how to be. First of all, so I'm just like, I'm a grown woman and I don't appreciate you being judgmental. I have desires just like you. So don't. Period. Okay? So he's like, oh, I'm not being judgmental. I respect it. That's fine. You're a good looking woman. You're just like trying to kind of cover it up. But so I'm like, okay, so don't act like, so you're telling me that you haven't fucked another woman since I've been here? Nigga, I've been here since last August. Okay? August of 2018. You meaning to tell me that whole time? Please, I would give you another woman to do it with, because that doesn't make any sense to me. What are you talking about? So he was like, yeah, I have, but not like that. And him saying not like that as if I gave him a number of men whom I've slept with, or I gave him an indication. I think he's pulling from when I said, don't act like you're not fucking other women, because I said women and not a woman. It gives the inclination that I'm fucking other men. And so what? Be it. And you're not my man. You're not my husband. We'd never established anything exclusive. So you expecting something from me is like, you're insane. You're absolutely insane. And so that turned me the fuck off. So I just came to the conclusion that these niggas ain't shit. And they're entitled as fuck. And they feel like they could do anything and you can't do anything. You know what I mean? Like, they feel like you have no reason to be one way when they have every reason to just be. Nigga, I'm being as well. Anyways. Look. Look. All right. So, let's talk about nigga number 2. Okay. So let me tell y'all something about me. I feel like I've said this before, but if I didn't, let me say here and now. Okay? Here and the now. I hate it when people, not even people, but like when someone I am seeing makes plans with me and proceeds to not follow through. Like, when I tell you that is the biggest turnoff for me, you could be the finest nigga on earth. And if you do that to me 3 times, I am so turned off. I am so annoyed. And the thing is, you could very well have a valid reason. Okay? You could have a valid reason. You could have your car blown up. You know, you was in an accident, but you made it out alive. I just want to know if dinner is still on like you planned. Okay? I just want to know if what you said was going to happen is actually going to happen. That's just what I want to know. Because when I am asked out, or when I am, just inquired about, hey, are you free this weekend? Oh, okay, let's go out. Do you want to, if I have invested my time in that conversation to let you know that, hey, I am free like you asked. Hey, this plan does sound great. Hey, I'm excited and I look forward to it. And you don't deliver, that is the biggest upset for me. It's the biggest upset. I get it's something about just your words not matching your action. And I get that, things happen and you can't make it anymore. We have to reschedule and blah, 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 blah. Are we still going out to dinner? That's all I want to know. Is we or is we not? Okay? So that's just a little backstory for me. Okay? And I say that because maybe it's just me. But I've just been in many situations with men where they would be the one to ask me out. They would be the one to go out of their way and let me know, hey, I want to see you. Or, hey, I would love it if you could meet me here. Or they would be the one to initiate. And when I give them the attention back, it's all of a sudden a nigga's not free anymore. Huh? What? You're not free? Wait, you're busy? So why did you ask me out? Okay, so that's just a little backstory. All right. So, nigga number 2. And you guys know this nigga. We talked about him a few episodes now. He and I, we've been cooling and hanging, and it's been pretty cool. The whole I don't know what we are, I don't know. That nigga. It's been pretty cool, but just recently he asked me out for us to go out on a date. Just this past weekend. Mind you, he asked me out earlier on in the week. In preparation for that coming weekend for us to actually go out. And I like it when people, when men ask me out in advance. I don't want you to feel like, oh, I'm just free the day of. No, nigga, I'm busy, even though I'm not. But the point remains. Be courteous, be considerate. Don't think this revolves around you. So he asked me out, and I was free per my schedule. And so that was the plan. We were supposed to go out that coming weekend. The days are coming closer when that weekend is supposed to be here, right? And so the plan is still on. It's still a green light. It's still a go. But come Thursday, he tells me, oh, Maxine, we're going to have to, a little plan change, not a little, but a little things somewhat change. that's going to impact pretty much our date. So instead of us spending like the whole time together, we might have to cut it short because he has someone, a relative of his, is moving back to a place where he came from. Okay, I'm not trying to say too much. So in my head, initially, maybe I'm selfish. Look, maybe I'm selfish. But I don't care. I don't care that your relative is going somewhere. You need to see him and spend time with him. Huh? You asked me out on a date. I want you to honor it. But you know what? I said to myself, well, at least he didn't cancel. At least he's still honoring our time together. And, you know, let me stop forcing it. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Thanks for letting me know. You know, at least we're still on. No big deal. The very next day comes, and he's talking about Maxie was just going to have to cancel. Like, altogether. That's all he said, pretty much. And at this point, I'm just like, nigga. So we're going to fight. What? Cancel? You were the one who came to me, approached me with this date, and now you're just going to up and cancel the day before. Huh? Like, when I tell y'all, I was so crushed. And it's like, okay, maybe it's not a big deal in retrospect, thinking about it now, but no, I'm gonna scratch that. It is a big deal because that's like my love language, you know? As I'm growing and dating and meeting people, I recognize what works for me, what I like to tolerate, what I don't like to tolerate, etc. And what I don't like from the bottom of my spirit, okay? What I don't like is when I get excited for something and then things don't work out. When I get excited for something and things don't follow through. You know, how I just don't understand how you could think that's okay. You know what I mean? And your argument may be, oh, well, you know, family matters, family over everything, blah, blah, F-O-E, F-O. What family? Family fucked my whatever. What's that? Family fucked my husband. Fuck family. What? Shout out to Faith from Soul Food. Just kidding. So my point is just my point, okay? I don't like it when I get excited and then you all of a sudden can't make it. I don't care how valid your reason is. And what I really didn't like about how he canceled it was there was no follow through. There was no gentle delivery. It was just like, yeah, we're just gonna have to cancel, bitch. Pretty much. He might as well have said bitch at the end. He might as well have said that. Because at that point, I felt like a bitch. Like, okay, he calling me a bitch. Okay? So, he said that. I'm assuming it's because of the whole relative thing. And at that point, I was just kind of over it. So, I just said, okay, whatever. The next day comes. I'm like in my bag, like just focus on school. I'm focused on working and just into being the best teacher I could be. Okay? He's texting me, talking about good morning. Good morning? Huh? Good night. Good night. I'm over you. Good night. I'm annoyed. You pissed me off and you want to say good morning? Good night. Good night. Okay? So I didn't respond because I'm petty. Because I'm petty. And it's like 2 hours later, he responds. Well, he double texts talking about, ma'am, question mark. First of all, I know I'm in the South, but I'm not of the South. Don't be calling me ma'am. Watch your mouth. So then I respond, petty as fuck, like, busy day. Like, I'm not busy. It's like, I'm busy, but like, that's never an excuse. Like, I could always kind of make time, especially if I'm just saying a couple of words. I would at least say that. So I know I did that on purpose, and I did do that on purpose. So I just said that. He said, okay. No, we didn't talk for like a couple of hours. He texted me talking about trying to make light conversation. So for our date, I don't think I said this earlier. For our date, we were supposed to watch a game together and have dinner, like the whole nine. It's supposed to be a nice time. And so when he texted me again later on that day, the day of our canceled date, he's talking about, oh, look at the game, like making comments about the game that we were supposed to watch together. And at that point, I'm thinking, nigga, what? We're supposed to watch this together, and now you're texting me about the game? Text your relative about the game. Text your relative. Like, I don't care. I'm not interested in having this like play conversation. So I'm super short. I'm just like, okay, Like, I don't even put LOL. When I'm annoyed, I don't put any LOL. I don't soften my touch. I don't put haha. No, nigga. It's straight face, period. What's up? Okay? So he finally I think he already caught on, but he calls me out kind of, talking about, oh, are you mad, Maxine? I'm just like, no, I'm good. Are you feeling away? I'm good. So then I think he's trying now. Well, he tried right after that point to kind of butter me, or like try to kind of soften the situation. So he then asked if I'm free tonight. Not if I'm, he asked what I'm doing. And I'm just thinking to myself, what? You canceled on me. What I would have been doing was getting ready to go see your ass. But now you're asking me, what am I doing right now after you already canceled on this date? Huh? So I'm just like, I'm chilling. I was like, well, me and so-and-so, his relative, apparently they're going out to watch the game, go out, whatever. And he wanted to see if I was open to joining them. So at that point, I'm just like, so I finally respond kind of straight up like, you canceled on me and you're telling me this now? He's like, all right, Maxine, never mind. I apologize. I'm like, okay. I'm done too. Boom. So I like that comment because I'm petty as fuck. So then he finally responds, well, like 30 minutes later, he asked me again. I made it clear that, you know what? Okay, cool. I appreciate you asking. He was kind of, I guess he had his tail between his ass or his legs. What's that saying? How you kind of rush with things when it comes to pleasing everybody, I think. So, look, and I get the whole family over everything. I get the whole, family comes first. That's totally true. I appreciate that in his character. That's awesome. But I just don't like it. That's it. Good night. Done. I just don't like it. No, I mean, what I don't like is you not honoring our time. I'm not saying scratch your family. Every day you're going to see me. Every Sunday night, every Sunday evening, we're going to hang out, especially when that time has already been catered to family time. I'm not that girl. I totally like my space. And I'm totally not clingy like that, okay? But my point is, don't get me hyped up for something in advance when you cancel on me the day before of that said date. That's what I find really crushing. It's really crushing for me. And it's a big deal. It's a super big deal. And I was explaining this to my friend, and I haven't even gotten a chance to really kind of break this down to him. Eventually I will, because I believe I should, I believe obviously communication is key, and I want to give it a shot by communicating how I feel clearly and respectfully, instead of just ghosting, or instead of just like being like, F it, I don't care anymore, because for so long in my previous dating experiences, whenever I'm just annoyed, I just realize, okay, well, he wasn't really shit anyway. I'm just gonna go. So I'm just gonna leave, and bada bing, bada boom. But with this guy, I do like him. And I am interested in seeing where things could go. And I need to recognize that, not everyone is perfect or quick to make the right decisions all the time. And he will make mistakes, I will make mistakes, and it's up to us to decide, can we be gracious enough to learn from those mistakes and move forward, or just let that be the deterring point of our situationship or whatever. So, and plus, I'm getting older. I can't just be ghosting people whenever I'm mad, right? Who said? But yeah, I will, because I was explaining this to my friend, and she is pretty kind of level-headed. Super level-headed, super just clear-minded and logical. And I appreciate that about her. So she just kind of made it clear, like, not in a hasty way, but just kind of saying, oh, did you say that to him? Like, did you mention that to him? And it's like, no. Mention? You're just supposed to know how I feel. What are you talking about, mention, huh? Okay, like, and that's how I operated many times before. It was always something like, you should just know how I feel. You should already know what a woman wants. You should already be privy to my tendencies. So I'm going to be passive aggressive. I'm not going to be straightforward. All these things. And I realized that is very childish. That's number one. So to all my ladies out there who are doing these types of behaviors, I encourage you to kind of reflect within yourself and see, why can't I just instead of being passive, be straight up? And something that I challenge myself to do more. As I'm growing and getting older, I want to just be more direct in everything that I do. And I know earlier I talked about how I was direct in, like, I'm making more intentional moves as far as speaking up for myself, as far as saying when I like something and when I don't like something, and like whenever I feel disrespected. I have been more conscious now for the past year or so in making that known. And I need to reflect that same feeling when it comes to even small things in relationships. And it doesn't have to be said, well, it shouldn't be said in a petty or passive aggressive way. It should just be said clearly, like, hey, I was really looking forward to going out with you that day. And when you canceled on me, I just felt kind of dismissed because, I felt like you didn't honor our time together. See how beautiful? Look, I'm dope. I'm fucking dope. No, but seriously, and I'm saying this for myself, really, so I hope you guys can get some gem from it too. But as I'm saying it out loud, it's very therapeutic for me to recognize my own faults and how I handle things and how I can do better. So this podcast is really my outward expression of doing better and analyzing myself and examining my thoughts and recognizing where can I do better. And although I am valid, I do feel valid in my feelings, but to better the situation, instead of being passive aggressive and expecting him to just know, why not have a adult ass conversation? Why not just say what I just said earlier, how, hey, I was really looking forward to this date and I was really bummed when it didn't happen. And I talked about this earlier. And here's the thing, like, you could be as very clear and respectful as you want to be, and yet some niggas out there still don't respond with that same cadence. Nigga number one, who I was talking about earlier in this episode, he is not quick to humble himself. He is not quick to recognize his faults. And instead of seeking to understand, he seeks to defend himself, and he seeks to turn the finger around and point the blame on you, you know? And I was just reflecting about him, nigga number one. That's their names. Look, I hope y'all understand who is who, but there's a difference, okay? I was reflecting on nigga number one, and I feel like I'll stop calling them niggas. Anyways, I don't know when I will. I like nigga! What? Anyways, I feel like nigga number one is and it's hard for me to kind of say this because I just had like a wow moment just 2 nights ago. When I tell you I have like these self moments when I am just reflecting on my relationships, my friendships, my experiences in life, I am able to clearly digest my actions, said person's actions, and see if they are healthy. And nigga number one, I have come to the conclusion, at least so far. Well, I came to the conclusion when I was talking about it with myself a few nights ago, that he is toxic. He is toxic. And that it just kind of hit me like a light bulb. Just when I was looking at this person I follow on Instagram called The Hood Healer. She had a post up talking about the cycle of abuse. And I just want to like share it real quick. Just give me 1 second, because when I tell y'all, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And look, obviously, abuse is not just physical, right? Some people still are ignorant to the levels of abuse or what abuse looks like, right? And just so everyone knows, in case you don't know, abuse is not just physical, right? Abuse is not even just yelling. Abuse is emotional. Abuse could be mental. So when people, by mental, I mean when someone is quick to kind of gaslight you, not kind of, but actually gaslight you and make you question yourself and your intelligence when you know what you know, that's mental abuse. That's manipulation, okay? But abuse is such a heavy word that I don't like to just freely say that word when I'm not being physically attacked, right? Or when I'm not being like called a bitch or a hoe. Like, that's abuse. But opening your eyes to recognizing, okay, abuse could also look like this, then it makes you realize, damn, am I perpetuating this cycle? So anyways, so her name is The Hood Healer on Instagram. And this post is called Cycle of Abuse. And there's 4 cycles, like 4 like rounds to it, okay? It starts off with number 1, tensions building, okay? So this is saying, I'm trying to zoom in. So tensions increase, breakdown of communication, victim becomes fearful and feels the need to placate the abuser, okay? Now, here's the difference. I've never felt fearful of him. I ain't scared no nigga. No, I never felt in fear of him, but I felt like I needed to placate him. And by placate, that's meaning you had to kind of, and I talked about this earlier, how I felt like I had to kind of comfort and stroke his ego, stroke his dick to make him feel better of how he treated me. That's step 1, okay? When you feel like, okay, he might be getting angry, or okay, he might not understand where I'm coming from, so I'm going to try to sandwich my critique and tell him how great of a person he is, so he could take in this critique that I'm telling him about himself for him to work on, you know? So that's placating. That's step 1. Step 2 is the verbal, emotional, and physical abuse, anger, blaming, arguing, threats, and intimidation. Okay? Now, like I said, make this clear, I've never been physically abused by him or anyone. But there's been emotional abuse and verbal abuse as far as, like, we had an argument. It was a while ago, but I remember that argument to this day when he just kind of called me out. Not kind of, he and that's something I am working on. Instead of saying kinda, speak straightforward. So instead of saying I kind of feel, or like it's just, that's my little girl still speaking instead of my grown woman being grown woman 24/7. So hey, that's something I realized about myself. So I'm going to be more direct and speak directly. Okay. Anyways, so emotionally, he was abusive and verbally as well. So I remember we got in an argument. He called me out my name. He insulted my appearance, and he just like kind of picked at different things. And the very next day, I want to say, or 2 days later, not too soon after, right? Well, soon after, he's like, I miss you, babe, or like trying to kind of like, sorry, kind of trying to sugarcoat what the hell we just talked about, like him dragging me for filth. And I called him out on it. I'm like, how are you talking to me like this right now? Yet just 2 days ago, you called me a bitch. You said I was ugly. You said all these horrible things. And he's like, damn, Maxine, I was just mad. That's what I do when I get mad. You really thought I meant that? LOL. Like, so him saying LOL and like putting like emojis in the text was his way of softening the situation and making me feel silly for even believing that he could believe what he said to me at that time. So him twisting it and making it seem as if that's in my mental breakdown for me to believe the things that he said out of his own mouth. So that was like, okay, huh? And at that time I'm thinking, well, when we get mad, people just kind of say things without thinking. People just kind of talk out their ass. And I mean, I knew it was wrong, but I just saw it as, that sneaker commercial. You're not yourself when you're hungry. You're not yourself when you're angry. I know I'm not myself when I'm hungry. I don't want to talk. I might call you a bitch, but either way, now I recognize that's not healthy. That's not healthy, and that's not okay, obviously, and that's not productive. Like, if you are upset with someone, instead of calling them out of their name, how about you just walk away, or like don't entertain that conversation anymore, or whatever it is. So that's step 2. Step 3 is reconciliation. Abuser apologizes, gives excuses. Okay, we kind of talked about it earlier, right? Blames the victim. Yup. Denies the abuse occurred. Okay, or says that it wasn't as bad as the victim claims. Okay, so I remember when I called him out on him calling me out my name and saying I was ugly, all these horrible things, and he was just kind of like, well, yo, it's not that serious. I was just mad. No big deal. So he was dismissing the levity of it, right? Then just the past recent situation I talked about earlier in this episode, he was quick to defend himself and say, you know how people say sorry and say, I'm sorry if you felt that way. I'm sorry if you took it that way. Yeah, I took it that way because that's how it was. That's how you sent it. That's how you delivered it. It's not about me taking it one way or another. That's what you did, okay? So, and even though an abuser could, and that's such a big word, I still grapple with calling him an abuser. And I don't even want to say, I don't know, because I don't want to say he's abusive, but that's me not taking, like, ownership, not ownership, but, like, that's me not applying ownership to his action just because it's uncomfortable. So, yeah, he's abusive. That's okay. Anyways, the last step is the calm, okay? So, incident is forgotten, quote unquote. No abuse is taking place, and the honeymoon phase is now here. So, and we've gone through this many times where, okay, we'll get over something. He'll apologize. He'll give a half-assed apology. We won't either talk for a few weeks or 2 months, and then he'll come crawling right back per use. And it's not even to shade him, because he crawls back because I leave the door open every time. So now, when it gets to me, what does that say about me? What does that say about my ass? I'm tired of saying things like, oh, maybe I don't have enough self-esteem. Maybe I'm tired of that shit. I do. Fuck. I do. It's just, and I shouldn't even have to say it's just. I don't know. I had to do some more self-reflection. I feel like there's a part of me that feels I can save him in a sense. Like, there's a part of me that feels I can open himself up more and more, because every time we've gotten back together, it's been better than the last time. And that sounds so, and me saying that out loud, I feel like that sounds so victim ass. Like, I'm a whole ass victim right here. And I swear I'm not. And I do my other thing, and I'm talking to other dudes or whatever. But there's still a part of me has held that door open, because I felt like this, like when he opened himself up fully, it will be a beautiful, blossoming relationship. But I recognize that I am not interested in waiting until that time comes, if it ever does come. And I'm not interested in playing this game with him and like holding myself back and forth with this dude, knowing that it's not a healthy relationship. So, yeah. And I think it's just me having a hard time letting things go when I have placed a goal or somewhat of a strategy in my head about something, and when it doesn't achieve itself to its fullest, I feel like I didn't put in more of my time. I didn't try harder. I failed it. And I know that's something I need to work on. So anyways, he's abusive as fuck. And I'm in a toxic ass. I ain't shit. Look, I'm going to take that out of me. No. I rebuke that in the name of the Father, the Son. Okay? But, yeah. I don't know. That kind of hit me. I don't know, y'all. I mean, I do know. And it's funny because when I first moved here, when I say first, like I moved here several times, but like the first few months I was here, like the first month actually I was here, I think I was just like, we had another situation and I finally texted him talking about, hey, I just don't feel like you could give me what I want. And I want no hard feelings, but we should just kind of go our separate ways. And I said that very clearly in those words here and there. And he responds saying, you're right. Something like that. I don't save things. He said, you're right. I wish you the best. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy life, whatever. And I wish I could remember what exactly happened after that point for us to rekindle again. Like, what the fuck? Why are we always rekindling? So, I don't know. I think it's one of those things that I may have to fully be interested or dating someone else, like fully, in order for me to kind of really cut that string off with this dude. Just because it's, even though he is toxic in some ways, right? It's like, oh well, he's just another nigga in my roster. Like, he's just someone I could just kind of have fun with here and there and then go about my way. Because there is no tie down, there is no commitment. But that brings me to what I shared earlier, how he felt entitled in thinking that I was not supposed to date and do my thing here in Houston. That's toxic as fuck as well. And he has his way, and I said this earlier, but I'm just thinking about it again. Like, he has his way of kind of pacifying me with pet names. Like, hun, babe, sweetheart, beautiful. Don't call me any of that. No, I'm mad. Don't call me shit. How about that? Like, don't do that. And I feel like he does it in a way to kind of to pacify me, to hush my thoughts, hush my opinions, hush all of that. And I'm sick of it. And I'm sick of myself for like going back to it. And it may be one of those things where whether or not I am currently in a committed relationship with someone else, I would still have to just break ties with him just from the fact of this nigga's toxic. Like, that's just it. Oh my gosh, I'm really thinking about just like drafting out a text right now. Because I don't know if me holding on to him, and I actually think I know the answer to this question, to this thought, but I feel like me holding on to him is holding myself from blessings. What if me holding on to him has not fully opened myself to nigga number 2? Anyways, I got a lot to ponder on, and I just wanted to share. This was fun. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been real. Please comment, leave your comments. Also, email godbuiltthispodcast email godbuiltthis@gmail.com. Okay. Also, check out our Instagram at godbuiltthis and my personal Instagram, Heymamore. Bye. See y'all next week. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of God Built This Podcast with your host, Maxine. Be sure to follow and subscribe on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud, and also leave a comment. God bless.